Ladies and gentlemen, friends and loved ones, hear me well. There comes a moment in each of our lives when we must stand tall, take a hard look at our hearts, and confront the truth we cannot continue being soft to everyone. Being kind, warm, and loving, that is a good thing. But there is a line, and if we cross it, our kindness becomes a weakness that people exploit. You see, love is powerful, but love without wisdom, love without boundaries, is like rain falling on a leaking roof. It saturates everything, but it cannot bring growth or shelter. Love, to be strong, must come with discernment. Boundaries are often misunderstood in our world today, but let me tell you, they are a vital expression of love and respect. Too many of us have been led to believe that the kind thing to do is to always say yes to accommodate everyone, to be endlessly available. But in doing so, we end up pouring out every drop of ourselves until there is nothing left. We wear ourselves thin, smile when we are exhausted, and continue to give even when we are on empty. This, my friends, is not genuine love. It is self-neglect, and it serves no one. Setting boundaries does not make you cold or unkind. Rather, it makes you wise. It is an act of self-preservation, a way to safeguard the energy and resources you need to thrive. Think of it like a bank account. You cannot keep making withdrawals without deposits. Eventually, you will be overdrawn. You cannot keep giving if you are not being replenished. So when you say no or set a limit, you are not being selfish. You are valuing the life and gifts God has given you, protecting your heart so you can continue to show up in the ways that matter most. Now, understand this, boundaries are not walls. They are not barriers meant to keep people out or isolate you from the world. No, they are gates, and you have the key. You choose who enters and when. Boundaries allow healthy relationships to flourish because they create a foundation of mutual respect. When people know your limits and understand that you will not be walked over or taken for granted, it sets a precedent. They learn to honor your time and your space. They know that when you give, you are giving from a place of fullness, not out of obligation or fear. Boundaries also help us avoid resentment. When you continuously give without taking time for yourself, frustration builds. The people around you might not even realize the toll their requests are taking, but inside you are burning out. Instead of feeling joy in giving, you become a vessel of irritation and exhaustion. By setting clear limits, you can give freely and generously without feeling drained or used. You can love people wholeheartedly because you have taken the time to love and nurture yourself first. Moreover, consider this, boundaries are essential for your emotional and mental well-being. They give you the freedom to heal, to grow, to be present for the things that truly matter. By protecting your peace, you become a better friend, a more compassionate partner, a more effective leader. You are able to pour into others from a place of strength and wholeness. So remember, boundaries are not about cruelty. They are about ensuring you can show up with love, respect, and authenticity in all you do. By setting limits, you are not pushing people away. You are creating space for the best version of yourself to shine. People respect strength, not weakness. It's a simple truth that we often overlook in our desire to be kind, helpful, and accommodating. We want to be liked, we want to be liked, we want to be needed. So we say yes when we mean no, we bend when we should stand firm, and we soften when we should be unyielding. But what happens when we make ourselves too available, too accommodating, too soft? People may smile and take what we offer, but deep down they may begin to lose respect for us. They see our willingness to bend not as a virtue, but as a vulnerability they can exploit. You see, kindness is a beautiful trait, but it needs to be fortified with strength. If all you show the world is an open hand without ever setting boundaries or showing resolve, some people will take that as an invitation to push their luck. They will come back again and again and again, asking for more, demanding more with little regard for your well-being. Why? Because weakness, or the perception of it, invites exploitation. People sense when you are afraid to say no, when you are too eager to please, and some will manipulate that. They will use your softness to get what they want, often at the expense of your peace and dignity. But strength, that is something people cannot ignore. When you hold your ground, when you confidently articulate your needs and stand by your decisions, people take notice. They may not always like it, but they respect it. Showing strength doesn't mean you are rude or harsh. It means you honor your values and refuse to compromise on what matters. It means that you understand your worth and won't let others diminish it, no matter how tempting it might be to stay silent or agreeable. Being overly accommodating might seem like the path of least resistance, a way to avoid conflict and keep the peace. In the short term, this approach may win you some approval or gratitude, but it comes at a cost. You will start to feel the weight of constantly giving in. People will come to expect that they can always count on you to make the sacrifice to go the extra mile, even when it drains you. And as that expectation grows, so does the imbalance in your relationships. You become someone who is taken for granted, not someone who is respected. True strength lies in knowing when to stand firm, even if it makes people uncomfortable. It is about having the courage to speak up, to demand fairness, and to honor your needs. People will respect you when they see you respect yourself. Strength commands attention and sets the tone for how you want to be treated. So remember, being strong isn't about shutting people out. It's about making sure your kindness isn't mistaken for weakness. It's about loving yourself enough to hold your ground, even in a world that may try to sway you. You can't pour from an empty cup. This phrase may sound simple, but it holds a profound truth about how we live and love in this world. We often feel a deep responsibility to care for everyone around us, to be there in times of need, to give, to support, and to uplift. It feels noble, and it feels right. But in the midst of our constant giving, we often forget something essential to care for ourselves. We keep pouring and pouring without ever stopping to replenish what we give away. Eventually, we run dry. And when we are empty, we are not only of little use to others, but also a shadow of who we could be. Think of it this way: your energy, your well being, and your mental health are the foundation of everything you can offer to the world. When you are filled with strength, love, and peace, you become a powerful source of support. Your words have weight, your actions have impact, and your presence brings comfort and light to those around you. But if you neglect yourself, if you sacrifice your own needs for the sake of constant giving, you become depleted. You lose the strength and vitality that once made your care meaningful. Too often, we confuse self-care with selfishness. We worry that if we take time for ourselves, we are neglecting those we love. But nothing could be further from the truth. Prioritizing your well-being is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of preservation. You are ensuring that you remain healthy, joyful, and capable of continuing to give. Just as a car needs fuel to keep moving, you need nourishment spiritually, emotionally, and physically to continue on your journey. Imagine a caregiver who is exhausted, stressed, and running on fumes. They may still be present, but the quality of their care will suffer. Their patience will run thin, their compassion will wane, and they will become a version of themselves they barely recognize. Now imagine that same person fully rested, cared for, and fulfilled. Their energy will radiate, their kindness will flow abundantly, and their strength will become a pillar for others to lean on. The difference is night and day, and it all starts with the willingness to fill their own cup first. Protecting your energy is about recognizing your limits and embracing the fact that you too are deserving of care. It means taking time to rest, to say no when necessary, and to invest in activities that restore your spirit. By doing so, you become a greater force in the world. Your impact is magnified because you are giving from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. So remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Love yourself enough to fill your cup first so you can continue to pour into the lives of those who need you most. Discipline over desire. It's a concept that challenges our understanding of what love truly means. Often we think of love as being endlessly soft, accommodating, and indulgent. We associate love with warm feelings, kind words, and a willingness to make those we care for as happy as possible. But genuine love, the kind that builds, heals, and transforms, requires more than just the easy comforts. It demands courage, wisdom, and the ability to make difficult choices, even when our hearts crave the path of least resistance. Sometimes love calls us to say the hard things. When someone we care about is headed down a destructive path, it's easy to stay silent to avoid conflict, to keep the peace and pretend everything is fine. But is that true love? No. Love that avoids truth is not love at all. It's complacency disguised as care. It takes discipline to speak up, to confront someone with what they need to hear rather than what they want to hear. It takes strength to risk momentary discomfort for the sake of their greater good. Love, at its deepest level, isn't afraid of being temporarily misunderstood if it means ultimately guiding someone toward growth and well-being. Think of a parent guiding a child. A loving parent wants to see their child happy, but they also want to see them safe, healthy, and equipped to thrive in the world. That's why they enforce rules, teach lessons, and sometimes say no when every fiber of their being wants to say yes. It's painful to watch a child struggle or to be the one who denies them something they desperately want. But that is the price of nurturing well. Love isn't always about giving sometimes, it's about holding back. It takes wisdom to know when to apply tough love and when to be gentle, and it takes courage to follow through. This concept applies beyond parenting to our friendships, relationships, and even the way we treat ourselves. We must have the discipline to make choices that lead to growth, even when they don't feel good in the moment. Sometimes love for oneself means turning down short-term pleasures that might harm us in the long run, like overindulging or choosing what's easy over what's necessary. Self-discipline is a profound form of self-love, requiring us to make sacrifices that will pay off in a better, healthier future. Love, when balanced with wisdom, is a guiding force. It's not blind and it's not weak. It is strong enough to stand firm when necessary and brave enough to take the harder path if it leads to true well-being. Nurturing someone, or even nurturing ourselves, requires decisions that prioritize what's right over what's convenient. So remember, true love embraces discipline over fleeting desires. It is a powerful blend of care and courage, guiding us to nurture with strength, clarity, and unwavering purpose. In closing, let us remember that true strength lies in balance. Being kind doesn't mean being weak, and loving doesn't mean never setting boundaries. We must stand firm, drawing lines to protect our energy, knowing that boundaries are not barriers but acts of self-respect. People respect strength, and when we honor our own limits, we teach others to honor us too. We can't give endlessly without first replenishing our own spirit. An empty cup serves no one. And while love may feel soft and comforting, it also requires wisdom and the discipline to make hard decisions. True love stands for growth, even when it's uncomfortable. So today I urge you to embrace the courage to be firm, to love deeply but wisely, and to nurture both others and yourself with the strength that transforms lives. Go forth, grounded in this balance, and watch the world honor your light. Thank you.